So we are 145 days into this, and just in case you were wondering, um, I still hate dishes. That's all. That's all I have to say about that. And I guess that gives you a hint as to what we are making today. But before I talk more about that, hello, I'm Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And again, as I said, we are at day 145 of 365 days of soap, and we are making dish soap again. But we are mixing it up, because why would I show you the exact same bar twice? Now, with the dish soap that we made on day like 4 of the channel, I'll put a thing somewhere. I showed you and gave you a recipe for a single oil solid dish soap block, which they are amazing. They have this great epic bubble. They really do a great job cleansing, cleaning the dishes and making sure that there's no film and residue and everything left on there from soap scum or, hard water stains, all that jazz. Very cool product. But I decided to show you another way to make some solid dish soap involving coffee. Now, coffee is a really great thing to add into your dish soap recipes because of the dismellum factors that come with coffee. Now, you can incorporate coffee in a number of ways in soap in general. I mean, you can put it in the soap as an exfoliant, but we're obviously not doing that for a dish soap because why would you want coffee grounds on your... No. We are actually using brewed coffee in place of water, and it is a 100% water replacement. And there are different ways that you can actually use, an enriched water. And a lot of people like to freeze it, and a lot of people like to do other things. And I'm going to show you the way that I do it, and we will see if, I survive to the end of the video. Okay, super short video and so much weirdness going on. So the first bit of weirdness we're going to start with is this coffee right here. That is, whoa, it's 177 degrees. That's insane. And then also solid oils. I mean, some solid oils because it was hot in the shop, so a lot of it melted anyway. But yeah. So we are putting super hot coffee that has been mixed with the lye. So this is a 100% substitution of coffee into the lye solution. And it's like a double brewed coffee, so super strong. And we are gonna, melt all of the solid oils using the super hot lye solution really before we start using the stick to get to emulsification. And it's a weird process. The heat transfer method, it's cool, but the only thing that I ever use it on is like recipes that have like one solid oil in them. I usually just let my lye water cool down normally, but for this, I get to not have to wait to let my lye water cool down, which is good because the coffee itself, you brew it and then I still keep it hot when I put the coffee in, so it can get a little bit hairy as far as the heat and everything goes, but you get to put that super hot stuff right onto the oils, and the heat of the lye solution melts your oils, and that's awesome. So you're not waiting 3 hours for your lye to cool down, really. Now, this color is weird and doesn't really scream, hey, I want to use it as a dish soap. And yeah, it looks like coffee, really. And finding emulsification with a coffee additive within an enriched water that's coffee can be a bit of a challenge, honestly. So you really do, I mean, I show you the stick all the time and like watch the separation and everything. That's what you need to look for. You need to look for the separation, not the colors, not anything else. You need to make sure that you're actually at an emulsion and you don't have any like oil water separation. Now, what's going on in there, I have a little bit of green mica, but the majority of that is actually the bentonite clay and green French clay, as well as some alfalfa powder. And that is going to help in, you know, making this nice and like light green and not this, because this is gross looking. Like, would you want to wash dishes with this? I don't want that on my counter. It needs to be prettier. Okay, so now on to the pour. The pour is super simple, right? It's a solid color. It's a solid dish soap block. I gave you guys the recipe for this. It's the same exact recipe that we used in like the very early days of the channel. So 0% super fat, 100% coconut oil, and we have the soap nuts that have also been added into the coffee lye solution, as well as some sodium citrate to cut down on soap scum. Soap nuts do that in and of themselves, which is cool too. So two really cool things to make sure we have the cut down on soap scum, which is good. I actually had a question in the last video about dish soaps regarding citric acid. I actually make my sodium citrate using equal parts baking soda and citric acid with some water to add to the batch. So you can do that and add it to the lye stage. You can do it and add it directly to the oils or after the oils have been emulsified. Any of that works. I mean, technically speaking, yes, there is citric acid in this, but not citric acid in its original form. It's done the, you know, chemical process of like a bath bomb, right? And burned off all of the CO2 and has become essentially a solution of sodium citrate. So yeah, citric acid, but also not really citric acid. But with those little additions and, you know, lowering the pH, it does help with things like, you know, soap scum, because obviously if you're more on the acidic range in a soap or any product really, you're going to be really tackling the hard water stains, soap scum stains, those sorts of things. And that's important for people with hard water. So that's, you know, every little bit really does help with a soap, and that definitely does help. And this is ready to not be C-popped and to just set up on the counter overnight to avoid overheating and hopefully make that color prettier. Okay, and on to the cut. And we have 4 bars now instead of 3 because off camera I was making a 4th bar, so we have 1, 2, 3 in from the left there. That one's taller and weird looking. I needed more soaps, but the mold didn't actually fit with the, you know, the pink scheme, whatever. So anyway, it is time to cut these guys. I cut these within 24 hours. Otherwise, I find it's way too hard to cut properly and things just start to crumble. That's not true of most soaps, but that's true with a 100% coconut oil soap. And look how pretty the color ended up. The reason for that is obviously we have the clays and everything in there and the alfalfa powder. That's cool. But the real reason is coconut oil is naturally a very, very white oil. And so it tends to, you know, lighten all of this up, especially if you're not forcing it through gel. It really helps out. Now, I guess we should talk about the point of like putting coffee in the dish soaps. Coffee is a natural like de-smeller, right? And we know that it clears out our, you know, our nose when we're trying to smell things or whatever, and that's awesome. But I wanted to do some research as to why, and it turns out coffee, it actually releases a lot of nitrogen, and that helps break down the really heavy odor molecules, right? So like the more density an odor molecule has, the stronger it is. And so coffee does a really great job in breaking down those super potent smellers. And so that makes for a really lovely addition into a dish soap, because if you just, you know, for example, cut a whole bunch of garlic, it's a very powerful smell. This cuts through it like nobody's business. The coffee soaps are really, really great for that. And I've done some weird things on the channel, but this might be the weirdest thing ever. Somebody had said it would have been cool if we had a demonstration on the first dish soap video. And so I'm gonna wash a freaking dish. Now this has oil in it from the actual pour of another soap, and I'm going to clean a dish on my counter for you to show how that's beautiful. Yeah, it's oil. It's breaking through oil. That's the point of, you know, like a slightly alkaline, you know, whatever. It's so clean. You guys, I washed a dish on my counter to show you guys the performance of the dish soaps. And keep in mind, these are fresh soaps, so the lather gets better in the next few days. And so that's awesome. But look how clean that Pyrex was. It cut through oil like nobody's business. And that's really weird. I can't believe I did that. But yeah, that is a day 145 coffee dish soap. This is new to the line and is pretty extraordinary. So I think I actually might keep all dish soaps coffee from here on out.
And there it is, the solid dish soap block enriched with coffee. It is such a good block of soap. I think I actually like this one better than the last one I showed you, just because it has the extra benefit of like the de-smellums with it, which is absolutely great. But it still has, you know, the soap scum remover. It still has the, you know, hard water stain remover. It still has, you know, all of the awesome big bubbles that you know and love and all that jazz. But, you know, coffee. And coffee's great in everything, so why wouldn't it be great in this? Obviously. Anyway, if you're interested in purchasing these coffee dish soap blocks, you can totally get them at the website at soapandclay.com. If you are interested in more soapy antics, subscribe to the channel because we're doing this every day. If you're interested in seeing more recipes as opposed to just me like making the things, let me know that too, because I'm really not opposed to giving you the recipes. I just don't know if this is something that you're interested in. And anyway, if you are interested in following me on social media, I'm there, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That would be awesome. Yeah, that does it for me today. I hope you learned something. Hope you had some fun. I definitely appreciate you being here for another round of 365 days of soap, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.